guys, Tracy here again, Kansas Garden Guy. Thought I'd do another weekly garden tour with you guys. It's been just a hair over a week. Had some stuff going on and kind of forgot about making a video this weekend, so we're going to do one today. A couple things we have done that you guys will notice when we do the tour that's gone now. The garlic is out. We have pulled the garlic, and we've pulled a lot of our onions to make smaller chopping onions instead of the big ones. I think we got I don't remember, we bought just a generic hardware style of onion. I'm not sure what they were, how big they're supposed to be. We just went ahead and pulled them because we're using the beds for something else. But this is the garlic, guys. We've got it sitting here. I actually have a enclosed insulated back porch on our house here, and we have ceiling fans and windows that draw all the air through. So I've got these garlics sitting out here basically on a table, and as you can see, they are looking great. The top's starting to dry, so we can start. We've already harvested a couple of these to eat, and these things are phenomenal. They're a hot style garlic. We basically got them from a local nursery here in town. They come in the bags every year. We planted them last October-ish. And here it is, June, middle of June, we harvested these. These things are not an elephant style garlic, but they are a big bulb, as you can see in my hand, guys. They are a big bulb. And we basically have tons of these. You know, you saw maybe our Facebook post that I put on our local gardening sites that have this garlic on here. But like I said, we harvested a lot of garlic. This year we only grew, I think the bag had, each bag had like 20 cloves or 25 cloves. So we grew 50 cloves of garlic. Not a lot, but it will work for us. We'll use this instead of selling. We will use this for our personal use. And then next year, we'll ramp it up, and I'll see if I can put 200 to 500 cloves of garlic in the ground next year, and then we'll be able to sell that in our CSAs or all local markets. Everything else is gone out of here. I got my seed delivery from Haas Tools, so I've got 4 different types of lettuces that are going to be going in the ground that I'm going to start on my seed starting trays here in about another month, and then that'll give me about 2 or 3 weeks, and then I'll be able to get them in the ground when it starts to get cooler in our new area. And let's take a walk and see what we got. How's that? So you guys get to look at my ugly mug here for a little bit till we get to the garden. Beautiful day. It's going to be hot. Beautiful. All right. Let's take a walk. It takes a little bit, guys. I got to get to the walk to the front of the house. So what we'll do is I'll go ahead and stop, and then we will get there. All right, guys, we are here. You notice a couple little things different that I did that was bothering me from the last video. If you notice, this area right here is my contender bush beans. And I've got strangler row of radishes. If you notice, all these radish champions are out. These are, I think they're called cherry bells. We've got some left in there, and then we've also got some black-seeded Simpson lettuce growing in here. This is left over from the bed a month ago. I've had a lot of people concerned when I talk about growing lettuce here in Kansas in the middle of summer. They're like, you know, you can't grow lettuce here in Kansas in the middle of the summer. That is a spring and a fall crop only. Here's the proof to it right here. This lettuce here has been raked. I pulled most of the lettuces out when they were small, when they weren't going to germinate very well, and I put these beans in here, if you remember, about a month and a half ago. These things have grown through being raked, being dumped with compost, and here they are. So there is a mix. There's only like 4 heads here. I mean, they're not, but they're pretty big. I mean, look at my hand. Look at the lettuce. So it's about palm size. And I have not done anything special. There is literally Kansas blue sky above us. There is no shade cloth. There is no nothing. I water these once a day, about 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and then that's it. So these lettuces have been growing in nothing but 95-degree hot Kansas sun for almost 2 months now with no fertilizer, no anything. So if that does not tell you you cannot grow lettuce in the middle of Kansas in the middle of summer, I don't know what does. So I've left them there because we are going to harvest those this weekend for a salad with some grilled chicken. So, but anyway, like I said, see it right there. Right there, it's just, you know, sporadically whatever came. I just left it. My wife said, just leave them, don't pull them. We'll see how far they grow without any hands-on interpretation. And then we'll know for sure when I start growing these beds, when we start putting these 60-foot beds of lettuce in, we know exactly what it's going to do here. But anyway, so what I went ahead and did is I went ahead and took all the weeds out of each one of these beds, widened the beds a hair with a tiller just to get the weeds out of there, and then I pulled what was left, and then I put wood chips in there, so it looks so much better. But these beans are starting to put on. Every night we pull about a dozen and a half good size 3-4 inch beans, and then we're going to use them. Actually tonight we've been storing them up for the last 3 or 4 nights, so we're going to do some squash and zucchini green bean vegetable stir fry with some of our garlic. So you see, these are just a contender bush bean. So let's see if I can find one of these guys. So you've still got a lot of flowers on it. Sorry about the shadow, guys. It's only about 10:30 in the morning, so the sun's kind of on me. You can see there's a bean there. So these things are starting to put them on. So you can see there's a bean right there too. Looks like I missed one yesterday. Beautiful looking beans. They got good flavor. I've eaten a couple of them out of the garden here, and they got very good flavor. So I'm very, very, very happy with that. We'll walk over here. The radishes are starting to come out. We pulled, I don't know, probably 2 dozen radishes last night to make into a vegetable stir fry. So those are going to be good. Actually, I like those Cherry Belle flavor more than the Champion. The Champion's more of a radish, which I'm not a black licorice or a radish fan. We did caramelize some in the oven the other day, and that was phenomenal. So I think my wife's going to start doing that to make me eat radishes more. But these Cherry Belles are really good, and I've got some plums that I'm going to plant here in another month, which are supposed to be sweeter yet. So hopefully that gets me over my radish flavoring I don't like. My wife's black cherries and her Candylands, they're doing great. Let's see here. This is a cherry tomato we pulled out of my Bella Rosa row. Apparently I got 2 or 3 cherry tomato seeds mixed in with my Bella Rosa seeds. And so since that's a cherry tomato is a indeterminate plant, and this is my determinate patch, I've only got about 5 foot of space for it to grow, and I didn't want it to get out of control. So I was going to pull it out of the ground and just throw it in the burn pile. But my wife said, let me throw it in a pot, see if it'll grow. She's got, I don't know, 25 or 30 cherry tomato plants here, and they're still not enough for her. So she gets upset when I throw cherry tomato stuff away like this. So she's going to try to put it in this pot. See if she can get this thing to grow. It's a little wilty on the top, but I think it'll be okay. We've got, as you can see, this is where our garlic and our onions were. We've got 2 cucamelon plants in here now. We were going to start some from seed. I couldn't find any seed, so I was going to try to get some next year. We actually were at our local nursery here in town, just kind of walking around. I don't know if you guys ever walk around your nurseries or local stores, just kind of looking at what everybody's got growing. Anyway, we found a couple cucamelons, so she ended up coming home with a couple cucamelons. So we're going to give those a try. She's pretty excited about those to make sure, to see what they're going to taste like. As you can see, our carrots are getting full on crazy over here. We've been pulling some out here and there. They still haven't bolted yet, so which is good. So I keep sticking them in the water to them. Hopefully we can make them last a little longer. I did buy 3 more types of carrots this year in seeds. I think we got more of a Bugs Bunny type of carrot, and I think there's 2,000 seeds of those, and I've got 500 seeds of a white carrot and 500 seeds of a purple carrot. So we're going to plant those in here to get these ready for the fall so we can sell before winter. But we're still eating on these. They're not huge, but I mean, they're good, you know, finger size or a little bigger than your finger, index finger size. So good snacking carrot. Basil is looking good. Everything's looking great here. Keep it watered once or twice a day. Good soaking deep water. And that's all you really need. None of this stuff has been fertilized up here in this garden. This is our kind of my wife's little space. That's why it's a little neater when you look. Everything's in raised beds. Everything's got walkways and stuff for her. This is kind of her little garden here that I help her take care of it, but the rest of it's more of a market garden. This right here is our personal garden. So you can see this is a black crim. So you can see our black crims are putting tomatoes on. Everything's looking good. We haven't really had to mess around, knock on wood, with a bunch of hornworms yet. We've picked 2 or 3 off. But that's growing tomatoes. You're going to have way more than that. These have never been sprayed up here in this garden. I mean, everything's looking good. Everything is set fruit. It's a little wilty right now. Like I said, these are not on drip. These are hand watered. My wife hand waters these every night. So, these won't get water till tonight. But as you can see, look at these better boys. I mean, that's a better boy there. These tomatoes are the size of my hand. And each one of these better boy plants is putting on tomatoes. Each one of them's hanging over. And look at Brutus over here. Brutus is the one that has been cut. He is a big boy. Looks like I need to get in here and clean some of this up. But cherry tomatoes. So we've got black cherries up front here that all are loaded down with cherries. And then we have the rest of my wife's large red cherries here in this row. Some of it's getting a little out of control. We got some cherries growing, as you can see. Back in there, they're still a little green, but look how thick those stalks are, guys. Those things are like 2 of my thumbs. So we're pretty excited. Like I said, everything started here this year in this whole garden besides the cucamelons and I think a couple of the off-hybrid cherry tomatoes. I think there's 5 or 6 plants here that we bought at a nursery because something my wife fell in love with when we were there. Everything else has grown from seed. So I'm very, very impressed with the seeds I've received from Haas Tools this year and some of the seeds I received from Baker Creek. Sunflowers here. Sorry about that, guys. Sunflowers here. These are the Mammoth Sunflowers. Not too impressed with these. I don't know if I'm not giving them enough water, too much water. They say you can't give them enough water, but man, I just hate to drown them out. But I guess maybe they're going, I don't know. So you see our tomato patch, I'm watering these right now with the underground drip and fertilizing them. So shooting a little 20-20-20 to them, get these things perked up. But you can see all the tomatoes are starting to look good. All the Bella Roses, each one of them's putting out, I don't know, I counted on the average. Like this plant here has 8 of them on here. I've counted anywhere from 8 to 12 tomatoes on each one of these Bella Roses. It just kind of depends. Some of them have 5 or 6 big ones, and then some of them have like 8 or 10 small ones. So it just kind of depends on I guess where they're at in their stage of life. But everything else has come out great. The Brickyard, the Summer Pick, and the Romas are putting on now. I need to come in here and trim some of these, tie these up. I don't trim too much of the suckers, but I do tie them up. And I cut some suckers down below. Banana peppers are looking great. These on the end, if you guys remember, get a lot of water because how it kind of slopes down. So I try not to zap them too much with water, but you know, they still got to get some water. Banana peppers are doing good. Every one of these banana peppers has something on. Now, my other peppers, I had to write down on a piece of paper what they are because I butcher these every time I do a video. They were from Baker Creek. They are a South African hot pepper, if I believe so. They are called Bueno Mulata. B-U-E-N-A M-U-L-A-T-A. Bueno or Bruno Mulata. They put out the most beautiful purple flowers and purple peppers. And me and my son ate a couple of these yesterday when we were out here. He came to stay with us for a couple weeks here. And he's 16, so it's not like he's hanging out with his dad all the time. So usually with his buddies, swimming and stuff like that. But he told me he'd come and hang out for a couple weeks, help me get some stuff done with the garden, and I could show him a couple things. Look at these peppers, guys. These things are phenomenal. I love the color of these peppers. I mean, this, I shoot this in 4K, and 4K does not do this pepper any justice at all. These, I mean, they're just beautiful. But, and then we got mini bells and large bells. These mini bells are the first year we've ever grown these. Look how crazy this is. I have never grown mini bells. Look at all the peppers on this thing. I mean, these things are crazy looking. I mean, me and my wife were talking about these. I don't know if this is something to do with the fertilizer that's getting them to grow like this, or maybe this is just the way they are. I don't know. We've never grown this mini bell pepper, but there are literally 15 to 20 of these little mini bells on each one of these plants. And then you come up to the green peppers here, and they're the exact same way. So I'm not sure if, see, because you look over here, this is a purple bell pepper, and there's one bell pepper on this one. And there's like 20 on the rest of them. So I'm not sure if that's how they grow. Not 100%. We grew bell peppers last year, but they weren't nowhere near this. And see, here's a bell pepper here, and they're just starting to bud now. And this is like your standard large bell pepper. See, like this one over here, it's got some flowers on it. But the cherry tomatoes, I keep telling my wife she needs to take these suckers off. Look at this, go down this row. Look at this. And she's like, okay. And then she won't do it because when she pulls these big suckers, they have blooms on them, and some of them already have set fruit, and she will not pull them because she does not want to lose the cherry tomatoes. So I have to come back during the day and be the bad guy and cut these off. And when she comes home, she's like, what happened to my cherry tomatoes? Well, I don't have no idea. But look at this, it's starting to get in the walkway. So I'm gonna have to come through here today while she's at work, cut these off so we can get the production to grow up instead of growing up to the bush. I try to explain it to her. She understands what I'm saying, but she will not do it because she does not want to cut the tomatoes off. So I've got to be the bad guy, once again, come through here and pull all these suckers up and get these things to train into the Hortonova trellis. That's the whole purpose of putting this trellis up, was so they'll grow into it. But that's another story. So let's keep on walking here. Cucumbers, look at these cucumbers. Marketmore 76s. Very, very impressed with all the cucumbers that we bought this year. Each one of these cucumbers we grew for the first time this year. Usually we grow some type of slice or a generic one from Tractor Supply, or some seeds, or something we get from the nursery. Have no idea what seeds are. You just buy them from the nursery. Like I said, we grew everything from seeds this year, so I was very specific on what we were going to buy. And these things are dressed to impress, guys. I mean, you guys can go back 2 videos and see these things are like 6 inches out of the ground. You know how cucumbers are. They'll grow out overnight. We actually harvested our first pickle last night. So our cucumbers are coming on. Look in there. If you can see. There's a cucumber there. And there's, each one of these has got a couple more. Here's one here. You guys can see a cucumber back in there hiding. So I am very, very, very impressed with these Marketmores. These things are, been training them to climb up the trellis. They are doing what they are supposed to be doing. As you can see, they're on the back side here. So I'm going to have to figure out something. We thought about putting another piece of plastic on the other side here so it can run, or I'm just going to mow this side with a lawnmower and keep them at bay so I can try to get them to come up the trellis. But, you know, they're trying. And these here are the muncher cucumbers. As you can see, they're more like a 3 to 5 inch cucumber. My wife wanted to try them for the first time this year, and she's a cucumber fanatic also. Sliced cucumbers and sliced tomatoes is like her deal. So she grew up in the South, and that was a staple on every meal at every table, so that's her big thing. So, hey. Pickles, Boston pickling. As you can see, we pulled our first 6 inch pickle off of that last night. And then we've got Chicago pickling, and then that's a national pickling there that took a spot of one that was that seemed to die out 2-3 weeks ago. Diomedes. As you can see, these are all Diomede cucumbers from Haas Tools. I think there's 40 or 45 of them in here. They have not set fruit yet, but I have been training them to get them to climb the trellis. They are now big enough that I can get them to climb. It's been, most of them here in the last week were this size, which are not big enough to climb the trellis, but rototilled in between, pulled some of the weeds out, and looks like that little guy there fell down, so I need to put him back up. Sweet corn, ambrosia sweet corn. It's coming on good too. Haven't watered these in about a week because we've had a little bit of light rain, but I'm going to feed the juice to them today. But they are looking good. Everything's looking good. Still got the deer netting up. I don't know if I should take it down or not, or wait until I harvest or what. I don't know. First year I've grown corn, and I noticed the deer were in here about 3 weeks ago, so I don't know if I should probably just leave it up for now. It ain't going to hurt nothing. Look at the squash and zucchini. We have been harvesting squash and zucchini for the last 2 weeks here. I mean, phenomenal. And we've killed, okay, I've sprayed these once with some neem oil and some pyrethrin about 2.5 weeks ago. And we've had rain every 2-3 days since then, so I have not sprayed because of that reason. We have killed probably 6 squash bugs, and we've pulled off all the leaves that had eggs on them. And so far, we have kept that at bay. Not saying you can't come in here right now, and we can't pull these leaves and see any squash bugs. But as of right now, as you see, there's no eggs on anything that I can see. So, but there's a little zucchini there. The blooms are phenomenal, beautiful blooms. These patty pan are putting on, oh, there's a little bee right there. You can hear him, a little honeybee. There's a little patty pan. We've harvested some patty pans and some other squash. Don't ask me what's going on with this dude. We had some 60-mile-an-hour winds the other day with a storm, and it got all wrapped around, and I tried to set it up last night. Half of it looks like it's come back. The other half looks like it's still laying down, but you can see these blooms look crazy cool. I love it in the morning when these blooms are straight up, because then they just look beautiful. See, there's a little patty pan there. Little baby squash starting here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then there's another patty pan here. Look at these flowers, guys. God, I love these flowers. These things are beautiful. There's a couple of patty pans hiding in there. Like I said, I think Kim pulled off 3 or 4 squash and 4 zucchini last night, and that's going to be part of our stir fry. As you can see, there's little squashes there. So everything is coming on. There's a squash there. That's going to definitely have to be, or zucchini, that's going to definitely have to be picked tonight. That's getting on the big side. There's another one there. And okra is coming on. Everything's looking good. What we did was I had some okra sporadically, if you guys remember from my last video, that kind of popped up here and there. We actually dug them up, transplanted them, moved them over here to backfill these rows. And then me and my son yesterday, we went ahead and, I didn't put any drip in this. We're just going to hand water these. We went ahead, we had 10 squash plants, or I'm sorry, had 5 squash and 5 black beauty zucchini left over when we transplanted these other ones over here. I went ahead and started those seeds 2 weeks ago, and just to empty that packet out, because you never really want to open a packet of seeds and then save a packet all year long, take a chance of bad germination and stuff. So I went ahead and just transplanted these, or seeded these 2 weeks ago. Been feeding them, just hand watering them on the back porch area, and we went ahead and put them in here. So we got another 5 zucchini and another 5 squash in, and then we've got our okra, our red burgundy, Clemson spineless, and our jambalaya. So I'm going to, once I get done drip irrigation, all this stuff, I'm going to go ahead and put the overhead water to this today. It hasn't rained here good for probably 2 weeks. So this okra will take, okra is very hardy. They don't need a lot of water, and they don't need a lot of fertilizer. Actually, they prefer not to have a lot of water and fertilizer. But if it does, you don't get a good rain, you need to at least give them a good soaking of water once a week. Just, you know, a good 2-3 hour soakings. That way they'll grow up good and strong and be good producers. And finally, we'll walk through here, and I have now put this insect netting over the top of this kohlrabi. And as you can see, if you can see in there, the kohlrabi has taken off. The insects have left it alone. Everything has greened up and perked up. So I think it just needed a little bit of my help. So like I said, I water this good and deep. So we're going to see if we can keep these things going. Like I said, this was part of my free pack from Baker Creek. So just an experiment. We're going to try it and see what happens. And then my wife's little wildflower patch I left her is kind of getting out of control with some weeds and grass in between flowers, but I don't have the heart to mow it down right now. Look at these guys. So I went ahead, like I said, we got the drip ran on this. I went ahead and extended the drip up, and we put another 12 feet up, and so we put some more ambrosia and then some more crimson sweet watermelons. But look at these cantaloupes. These guys are running like crazy. Dark green. I fed a little fertilizer to them last week. So this week, actually, I feed them the fertilizer, I don't know, once a month. So I did it for the first time last week. So The next 3 weeks will just be some water, maybe some fish emulsion. I like to run that fish emulsion. It gives it that pop of green color, and it just gives them a little extra food. Nothing much. I mean, it's not crazy. You could feed fish emulsion every day and not burn these things. Just give them a little bit of food. Charleston Grays here, they're starting to run now, so which is good. They're going to start to fill out. Like I said, we had this wind the other day, so it's kind of blown these things kind of crazy. But yeah, starting to look great. I can't wait till these things start putting watermelons and stuff on. I think if we've counted it right, last year growing ambrosia, we had anywhere from 4 to 6 cantaloupes per plant. And we had 4 plants last year, and we had more than enough for us to eat. This year, I've got 5, 10, 15, 20, I've got 25 cantaloupe this year. So if I could do that, I'm hoping for 500 cantaloupe this year, if we can. And that will be a good seller for us to be able to sell some locally grown watermelon and cantaloupe this year at the stand. So, but anyway, guys, that's going to conclude our tour now. I promise it's over. So I've held you guys long enough. Anyway, guys, like always, you guys take care. Be safe, wash your hands, and God bless everybody.